Thank you. There we go. Thanks for having me. This one might be a little controversial, but hot take. I think Trump may have just implemented one of our most effective climate policies I've seen in my lifetime. So the challenge with climate change is it's slow, and humans, like frogs apparently, really good at ignoring gradual change. So what do we do about this? Hit them with an energy crisis. Call it the inverse boiled frog theory of behavior change. TM. It's really effective. To get a sense of how effective this could be, let's look at some historical examples. So, the year 1973, I remember it like it was 10 weeks ago. Americans driving giant cars, burning lots of fuel, terrible fuel economy. Israelis driving giant tanks with even worse fuel economy. They got in a fight with their neighbors. The U.S. supported them, and we got an oil embargo to wildly oversimplify things. So that one only locked up about 7% of global oil production. It was still enough to double the price of fuel domestically and drive inflation to twice the level of what we saw post-pandemic. And it drove some real changes. So U.S. basically stopped burning oil for electricity, but for the islands. It was mostly displaced with nuclear generation. We also started investing in research. So started the Solar Energy Research Institute, which became NREL, now NROC, built giant research wind turbines, laid the groundwork for the technologies that have dominated power plant construction for over a decade. And we also saw some real change on the consumer side. Fuel economy of cars doubled in a decade. And we did this largely by shifting to smaller cars. And a lot of the smaller cars came out of Japan. So we saw some real geopolitical impacts as well. So Detroit went from being one of the richest cities in the country to being poor enough to make Michael Moore famous. And Japan shot up to being the second wealthiest country in the world. And it's not our only example of an energy crisis. So Katrina knocked out a couple oil refineries. Oil prices spiked domestically. The rate of hybrid car adoption doubled. Fuel economies turned around. All that under George Oilman Bush. So today we've got about 19% of global oil locked up behind the Strait of Hormuz. So if you're keeping score, that's 2 to 3 times the scale of the last couple of crises I described. Globally, we're seeing huge impacts. So a number of countries have moved to 4-day work weeks, mandatory work from home, universities, government buildings are getting shut down, all to reduce fuel consumption. And domestically, we're seeing a huge jump in the number of people who are shopping for electric vehicles. Almost reversing a bunch of these new Trump incentives are almost reversing a bunch of the old impacts. And it's not surprising that you're seeing this level of impact. If you think of this as a carbon tax, it would be one of the biggest carbon taxes in the world. So environmentalists want to ramp up to this level over the course of a decade. Trump did it unilaterally, globally, overnight. And we might just be getting started. So it takes a month and a half to get a ship around, a tanker around the globe. Most countries have a few months of reserves, so we haven't really even seen the actual physical shortages yet. JP Morgan was estimating that if by mid-May it wasn't opened up, we'd see impacts twice the scale of what I was just describing. And a month ago, mid-May was their outside risk scenario, but it's starting to feel pretty baseline-y to me today. So where's this going? I don't think it's going to be Japanese compacts this time. So in the Chinese market, electric vehicles are already cost the same as their fossil cousins. And for what they spend to fuel a year's worth of gasoline, you can buy enough solar panels to power a car for its lifetime. We may be blocking their imports, but most countries aren't, and the Chinese are happy to export. So economics were already on their side. Trump just gave the world the shove it needs to break some old bad habits. So the greatest climate leader ever, Maybe this is that 4D chess we've been hearing about.